220. All right, for the second topic today, our third to last video on Rules Cyclopedia, we are now going to look at what it means to be an immortal character. Now, a lot of people have told me that this chapter is not the same as Beckme. It's not this Immortals isn't the same as the Immortal books. Now, to be fair, I don't know. While I do have Beckme, I don't remember anything about the Immortal rules, and I didn't look them up. So whether it's the same or whether it's different, who knows? But we're going to look at how to be an immortal character. You are your own god in Rules Cyclopedia. Get off my screen. Like that. All right. Okay, let's 221. Hey, I remembered.
You did. Good job.
Boom. So, what does it mean to be immortal? As characters reach higher experience levels, they will become aware of the powers even mightier than they. What? What? How dare you say that, sir? My 24th level character is the epitome.
Anyone stronger than me deserves to die.
Right. Except for they're immortal, so they can't, and that's just embarrassing.
Be buried in a hole.
There you go, forever. Just their heads out. Where are we? The powers beyond mortal ken. The influence of these powers is deeply interwoven with the fabric of campaign events, and it becomes clear that these superior beings manipulate the world, perhaps the entire multiverse, according to their own desires. These beings are the Immortals. Dun, dun, dun. All right, Immortals and spheres of powers. Once mortal heroes of legends, the Immortals gain powers and responsibilities beyond worldly concerns. This is why 20th level characters are just pawns. They don't care about you anymore. What? Earth? Oh, yeah, that thing down there? The planet named Dirt? Okay, sure, whatever. Oh no, they went to war and 10,000 died? We'll make more.
Who cares? I'm in charge of 8,700 planets, okay?
Right.
I ain't got time for this.
Now Immortals, they subtly manipulate the events of the multiverse to advance their spheres of power. Their maneuverings create challenges and epic sagas to test the worth of mortals while furthering the Immortals' own mysterious goals. Each Immortal serves one sphere of power, as described below, and the struggle for dominance between the spheres of power causes conflict in the campaign. When the gods start taking notice, that's when the earth shakes. You just don't want it. You want gods to be up there drinking their Valhalla juice.
Yep, and
minding their
not
own business.
Knowing you exist. That is the best thing possible. The problem with being a 20th level and higher hero is that both sides know you exist now, and they're going to be tapping you.
You know, there is a setting that took that into consideration. Said, do we want 20th level characters? I think not, sir. You have a choice. Actually, it was 18th, if I remember correctly. You are 18th level. Your choice is to stop or leave.
Or get out.
Because the gods are like, yeah, we're not playing this game.
Yep. Yeah. We're not doing that. No, there's going to be no one here that's going to be able to actually challenge us. And we'll make sure of it. Psionics, gone. 19th level and up, gone. You're gone.
Agreed. Each immortal has his own personal interests, often drawn from his experiences in life. One may be a patron of war, while another may be a patron of the arts. Each immortal promotes his own personal interests in the mortal world. Of course, here we go. Each immortal is served by an order of clerics. The immortal provides power. The cleric spells,
Sure.
To his cleric followers, and also gives them guidance. That's right, do what I say. That's your guidance.
Well,
here's a book. Misinterpret it all you want. Each immortal draws strength from the numbers and devotion of his mortal followers. And so there are also secondary struggles between immortals who want to lure followers away from one another.
Sure.
I actually started playing, I don't know if we really played any length of time, in an Immortals game. And the goal wasn't to get experience points. The goal was to get more followers. And that was really the only way that you could increase your power. Was to increase your sphere of influence.
Sure.
No, not all clerics serve an immortal. Because remember, some serve the Teamsters and Jimmy Hoffa, who's dead.
Yeah.
Some serve the less specific concepts of law, neutrality, and chaos, while others serve great non-sentient forces such as nature. Ooh. Yeah, I serve lycanthropy. Okay, spheres of power. The entire multiverse can be divided into 5 distinct components. Really, that's it?
That's it.
Also called spheres of power. These 5 spheres are. Oh well. Okay, we're playing mage now.
Yeah, we're playing mage now. Yeah.
Look, they're literally mage spheres.
Matter, prime, time, mind, and entropy.
No, it's matter forces. Energy would be forces.
Matter forces. You're right. Matter forces, time, mind,
and entropy. There you go.
There it is. Yeah. We're just missing a couple, but that's fine.
Who needs spirit? Everything in the multiverse is composed of a combination of all 5 of these components in varying proportions. Each immortal serves one of the spheres, seeking to either increase its influence in the multiverse or to maintain the balance of power among the spheres. In 3 of the spheres, matter, energy, time, one alignment is dominant. In the other 2, no alignment dominates. Yeah, really? Chaos doesn't dominate entropy? Am I mistaken?
It is part of the cycle, you know?
Yeah, fair.
And we're already in World of Darkness, so it's part of the cycle. You know, the Weaver, the Worm, and the Wild.
The sphere of matter is closely related to the element of earth. Its purpose is to withstand destruction and decay. The sphere stands for sturdiness and stability. Matter, in its 3 forms, is the building block of all things. Even in decay, matter uses the element. By the way, there are 4 forms now. Science has moved on. Just saying. It's like, matters, oh my God, I cannot wait for the fact checking on that in the comments. Even in decay, matter uses the elements to create new forms. Matter is rich in variety and easily mutable to any form. Matter represents the lawful alignment, order in all forms, and favors the fighter class. Matter is opposed to time's efforts to cause change and provides thought with existing order. The sphere of energy is closely related to the... Do we have to read all of these?
No, you don't. You know, each sphere has a corresponding element and or alignment, and
yes.
any immortal that is part of that sphere will more than likely have something to do with that element and alignment.
I will read this last paragraph here because it sums this stuff up pretty well. The multiverse is best served when there is balance between the spheres of power. If one should ever gain an overwhelming dominance over the others, only entropy would win. Well, the entropy's good with that then. Yeah, for balance between all the spheres is necessary for harmony. Thus, while each sphere constantly strives to advance and grow, the other spheres of power try to maintain the balance by retarding or countering and opposing spheres' growth. That's right, sphere of power. All right, Immortals in the game. Why would you want Immortals in your game? Well, Immortals provide challenge for high-level characters. Yawn. Their subtle manipulations lead to campaign events, and the possibility of reaching this status provides characters with new goals. The best way that Immortals mess with players is through subtlety, not even realizing that's what's going on. Yep. Fighting an avatar is dumb. Don't do it. But their stats, shut up, don't do it. No. Have them manipulate within manipulations. And just when you think you know what's going on, you come to find out it was actually the one you served.
Yep. Yeah. You think you just ran across this little orphan girl. Her parents, she says her parents died in a covered wagon wreck, and she needs help. But actually, she was put there by a servant of entropy or whatever to lure you into some kind of trap to take you off the board. So another servant, immortal of, say, matter or energy or whatever, loses you as pawns. That was it. That's a whole adventure. Just God's messing with you because you're noticed.
An immortal is a being who cannot die by earthly means. Immortals do not need food, drink, or air. That's why they hover out in space just looking down on you.
Yep.
Immortals, they easily manipulate elements and magical energies while remaining almost totally immune to their effects. An immortal's goals are to gain personal power and to advance the influence of his sphere. Immortals gain power through the service to their sphere. To increase the influence of one sphere is also to gain increased power from that sphere. The path of immortals. I'm sorry. The path of mortals and immortals cross when service to a sphere requires immortals to intervene on the various planes of existence. And this is where mortals go, crap. There it goes.
Oh, man. Now I'm a puppet.
Yep. What was you said at end of Spaceballs? Oh crap! There goes the galaxy or something like that.
Spaceballs. Oh, there goes the planet or something like that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Let's see. Immortals have entered the lore and legend of the world through these chance encounters. The prime material plane, that's where we are. By the way, we're going to talk about planes next week. The prime material plane holds special interest for immortals. Why? You don't need to be here. Go away. It's the only place in which sentient humanoids occupy and manipulate an environment composed of all 5 spheres. It is also the only place that reliably produces new immortals. We're like a farm for them.
I know. Yeah, they're just farming us for more of their own.
Thus, many immortals visit the prime material plane with regularity. Once in the distant past, immortals lived on the prime material plane directly and influenced the progress of sentient races. They later departed. Yeah, you know why? We overthrew them. We kicked them out. Said, go away. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. They later departed wisely to preserve the plane's unique environment. No, there's probably some treaty or something that if you're there, I'm going to be there, and if we're both there, it's the end of the universe, right? Fine. Okay, how do they interact with mortals? Do what I say.
Pretty much.
Do I have to read anything else here? All right, mortals on the prime plane are dealt with directly and through subversion. Immortals do not commonly confront mortals directly. Okay, let's read that slower and more emphatically. Immortals do not commonly confront mortals directly. Immortals do not often appear to mortals in physical form, standing up before them and joining them to action. More commonly, immortals will appear to one mortal in his dreams, or will inspire a cleric to a prophecy affecting the mortals. On rare occasions, the immortal will appear before a party of mortals in his incorporeal form. Heathen dog. Change your stupid name because it doesn't make sense because I'm talking to you.
Shut up. Ow.
Immortals usually communicate with mortals in order to command them to undertake actions which advance the immortals' plans. When one immortal sees an enemy immortal plotting, the first immortal will usually communicate information and his desires to a group of faithful clerics or heroic player characters, persuading those heroes to confront the minions of his enemy. Hey, this god over here who you can't defeat is starting to get rambunctious. Can you go handle that for me? God, can you go handle your own crap? Please? Because we're down here.
Not my problem.
Yeah, the immortals themselves seldom participate personally in the struggles between their minions. So they agitate us to go murder each other off for their lulls. That's what it is. It's usually not necessary to have a character sheet for an active immortal. Why? Because he's immortal and a god. The character sheet says yes.
Yeah. What can he do? Yes.
Mortal heroes in reasonable campaigns don't often attack them. I like it says in reasonable campaigns.
Reasonable campaigns. In unreasonable campaigns, they often do. And then they often have to re-roll to make new reasonable characters.
However, in certain rare situations, mortal heroes will decide that they have to attack an immortal. At that point, as a DM, you can you can choose one of several different responses for the immortals. All right, number 1, the immortal overwhelms the PCs. Right. Number 2, the immortal leaves. Really?
It doesn't have to. I don't have to stay here for this nonsense.
Number 3, the immortal stays and fights.
Oh, you pissed me off, Joe.
Yep.
I told you to do this, and you come up and try and fight me? Okay, well, it's on now.
All right, immortal behavior. Immortals have a rule amongst themselves. Direct action against mortals is forbidden. Some of them might not be following that rule.
Yeah. Direct action against mortals is forbidden. Okay.
The wiser ones among them have convinced... Oh, what's that?
Well, we all know about Superman. Superman 1, remember when it is forbidden to mess with human history? His father, the big ghostly immortal,
Is that
You
why
know,
he
told
spun
him-
the Earth backward?
Yeah, and then he said, "Screw you, Dad," and then spun the world back. Yep.
The wiser ones among them have convinced most of the others that they need to live with this code and enforce it on others who aren't so sensible. And so the Immortals spend a lot of their magical energy scanning for telltale emanations of direct immortal intervention upon the mortal planes. Can't they just be like, hey, yo, dude, can you go build the CIA over there? And then they can go do their own thing? Come just tell me when something's happening. I don't want to scan. You go scan. Mortal intervention on the mortal. An immortal who just shows up on the mortal world and starts killing the mortals he dislikes will instantly be noticed. He'll also be victorious, and will probably be what's that?
Yeah. He'll succeed,
and will probably be attacked by the other immortals. Not if it's, I don't know, a plague. Just throw down there. What happens if you launch the? Okay, let's look at Dragonlance. What happens if I just decide to throw an asteroid on the planet and kill off all the dinosaurs? Boom!
That was
Oops.
naughty. You shouldn't have done that. Huh?
You're right.
Well, it's done now.
Well, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah. Well, what's the new plan, man?
Well, I noticed something though. All your followers died.
Yeah. Oops. My bad.
Oh, where are we here? This is why immortals tend to limit themselves to speaking to mortals in dreams or appearing very briefly and not manifesting very much energy. This is why they try to persuade mortals to their own doctrines and let the mortals do all the work. No, it's because they're lazy. They don't have to do it anymore. If I had $1 billion, I'd have housekeepers too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if I had the ability to say, do it, knave.
Yeah. I would hunt down and hire a butler named Jeeves. They're around.
Yeah. Or I just make him change his name.
Get me a Jeeves.
Yep.
He's going to handle all that crap that I don't want to handle.
Now, of course, not all immortals are happy to bow to the will of the masses. Some chafe at the no direct action rule and do appear directly whenever they think they can get away with it. Often it will be in mortal form, which is no more powerful than a high-level player character, but is not detectable by the other immortals. This is usually known as an avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Immortals appear on the prime material plane in their true identities, usually only in high-energy places and situations where they think other immortals will not notice their presence. When an immortal appears on the mortal world in his manifestation form, there's a 5% cumulative chance per round that the watching immortals will know. So basically, after like a minute, you're caught.
Yeah.
If they notice, they will probably decide to yank the erring immortal back out of the mortal world by force. Oh, good luck with that. If he's a lesser immortal of one of the 4 good spheres, they may be able to punish him. If he's an immortal of entropy, he will not allow himself to be summoned into their presence and will simply escape to cause trouble later on. Loki. Okay. Now, to be fair, okay, we're making fun of this, but to be fair, these are good rules to have out there that how do you set the standard as to why the mortals don't just pick you up like one of those god games and say you're building this city, you're fighting this war, you're
right. There's a reason for that.
Yes, exactly.
I'm going to go for some star comments now because
okay,
one of them was a super chat and the others are very relevant.
Okay,
this one right here, the Stargate series. I don't know if Max watched any of the TV show Stargate.
Dude, I'm watching it right now.
Okay, cool. Then the ancients have rule like that as well, and the ancients can stop an immortal, can stop an ascended being from doing things on the mortal world by yanking them out. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what this game is talking about. And since this game came first, Stargate's copying Rules Cyclopedia. There you go.
It's also a it's also a concept that's been baked into many religions over many, many years too.
Yeah. And then we have the super chat from CPK. This is our galaxy now. Get the hell out of it. It's a B5 reference. Yeah.
B5. Oh, Babylon 5. Okay.
Babylon 5. Yeah. When
thank you for the $10.
Oh, yes. Thank you for $10 for the whole at the end of season 4, which should have been the last season, but whatever.
Is that it? Or do you have more?
No, let's keep going. Keep going. I just want to get through those.
Oh, okay. An immortal will not generally reveal himself to mortals. Wait, hold on. Two more. What? An immortal will not reveal. Okay, only candidates for future immortality may normally recognize an immortal. Instead, immortals prefer to manipulate their followers by material planes by other means. One subtle but common way involves the use of omens to presage some great event, encourage an undertaking, or warn of danger. Another common way is to inspire a mortal through mental suggestions or dreams. And you know what? As a fun immortal, I like to put those portents out there and then have them just be false. Oh, it's the red moon. It's bleeding. Yeah, I just wanted to color it red for a day.
That's cold, dude.
I know, it gets them all spun up and then...
Yeah. It would get everyone spun up. Think about it.
If I wanted to talk to you, I'd come down and talk to you. Stop just because you had a cow with 2 heads acting like it's the end of the world.
Well, I think if a cow was born with 2 heads, it'd be close to the end of the world. I mean,
for the cow?
No, it's for me. For me too. I live in the world.
It's just a cow.
Ends, I'm going to get ruined. All my crap's here.
You know what? I'm going to give you a baby with 2 heads. See how you work that one out.
Nope. I'm out. I'm out. I mean, yeah. Can you spell abandonment? Because that's what I'm going to do. I'm not playing around with that. That's not happening. That is not happening. I'm not playing with that. I mean, yeah, people take a lot of crap for surrendering, broken babies to the hospital or to a fire station, whatever. But if my baby had 2 heads, I'd be like, that's not mine. I found it.
It's weird. It looks just like you. Wow, this one looks just like you. This one looks just like your wife. It's almost like you.
It's almost like it's a devil child. Here, take it.
It's, what? Its heads spin. But they don't spin on their own neck. They actually spin like an orbit. It's creepy.
That is terrifying. And the firefighter's going to put out that fire because I'm not taking that home. No.
Well, don't light your baby on fire, please.
I'm saying let the firefighters handle it.
All right, let's see. Another common way is to inspire a mortal through mental suggestions or dreams. You know how many times I've had a weird dream? You got to be a little bit more on the nose than that. I don't like subtlety. God, if you want me to do something, tell me to do it. Otherwise, you know what? I just had another nightmare. When attempting to change the course of history, an immortal may use more active methods. The most common is use of a pawn. Ethan Dog said it. A servitor or follower of a sphere of power, sometimes a PC.
Especially if the PC is a cleric or a paladin or something, and God will appear in a dream or in a vision and say, you must now do this. And he's going to say, I must now do this, and convince you that it's the right thing to do.
The best way to do it is through the high priest.
Oh, yeah.
And then find out that the high priest was lying the entire time.
See, why you got to make it so bad? Why you got to make it so angry?
Because I don't, honestly, to be fair, I don't like this concept of immortality. That is why I don't. God's, in my mind, now I'm not saying this is a bad game or anything like that, should be so far outside the realm of even worrying about humans that 99% of the time when you do have 2-headed cow or a red moon or whatever, just pass it off. If I really do struggle with this idea of like, let's use them as little pawns, but not directly as little pawns. Either you want me to do it or you don't, God. like that is my mentality. So I find stuff like this. Also, I've seen it way overdone in games. Oh, look, you have this dream. Can I play a madman instead? Can I just say my dream is an insanity? No, this is, you feel compelled to follow this one. Here, play my character for me then.
I am compelled. Okay. You know what compulsion means? Doesn't mean I got to do it. Just means I want to. Or I feel like I want to. Well, feelings are for children. So there you go.
I just think there are better ways of doing this. Bob used to argue this with me. Actually, no, this one, I'm sorry. No, I'm saying this backward. This is one of the things I agreed with Bob on. Wow, you believe that? I've agreed with Bob. Is the fact that while I understand the concept of avatars, I'm sure I'll get some comments. Well, an avatar is really just, I don't care. If God says it, it happens. It's that simple. If there are 15 gods, they don't say a lot of stuff because then they start reflecting off of each other and the world falls apart. Gods are out there. Are they real? Yes. Why? How do you know? Because clerics can cast spells.
That's all the evidence you need.
Right. But God, I will cast the spells for you and hopefully do it in your name. Can you stay the F out there?
Or follow me with this. If you want me to do something, send me a letter.
Right.
Write it down. Yeah. Spell it out. Spell it out.
You know,
And
the Moses burning bush thing is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. It got my attention. Yeah. There you go. You know, and the whole 10 Commandments thing.
Yeah. Going
Excellent
up on
work.
Going
Excellent
up on
work,
the mountain, talking to me in person.
Yeah.
I get that. But this whole like, oh, I got this dream that a chicken flew and a cloud turned into a smile. Oh no, what was that Rick and Morty one where the alien, the gas alien, that song, Moon Man or whatever it was called. Like I don't want visions like that I have to interpret. Tell me what you want or GTFO.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you know, God let what Moses write it down. He took notes. That's great.
Yeah.
You're allowed to take notes. Awesome. You know, that's the word. I write down the word. I won't mess up the word. There it is.
Just in case my language doesn't interpret goddamn, can you just write it for me?
Yeah.
Anyway, being a bit facetious, but you get the idea. So I've always found that when I've been in these type of Immortal type games, or when Immortals are utilized in game, it's just a game master power trip. That's been my experience. Or on the flip side, a player power trip. You know, it's never been interesting in my experience. Your experience may vary on that. So, yeah. I'm glad the rules are in the game. I'm not mocking it that way, but you know, as far as messing with the players or messing with the game master or just messing with the concept, yeah, it's so easy to do. That's the issue. But anyway, where are we here? When attempting to change the course of history, an Immortal may use more active methods. The most common is use of a pawn servitor, follower of superior power. Okay, we already got that. Okay, a pawn may be given an Immortal artifact and a goal to accomplish and then left to his own means. Yeah, you know what you want to do? You want to give a human the most powerful weapon or the Ark of the Covenant. Hey, don't touch
Give it to him and then walk away. Yeah, you know what? I commonly give toddlers guns all the time too. It's going to go over just as well. You're going to have a whole bunch of dead Nazis. Wait, that's a good thing.
And the problem, so you know, gods can stumble upon good things. All right. The pawn faces mortal risk in personally performing the task. A less risky method is for the pawn, usually an NPC, to act as an agent of the sphere to coach a more powerful character to undertake the Immortal's task. In either case, these are the types of events which drag player characters into the world's most famous, powerful NPCs into the plans of the Immortals. Immortals from the sphere of entropy are the most likely to become personally involved in their plotting, often revealing their true form to their minions, servitors, and enemies. So they're the good guys.
Well,
no action that would endanger the prime material plane is ever taken by an Immortal, including one of entropy. Why? Because that's where all the followers are. That's where all your power is. That's where the cookies are.
Yes.
All right, Immortal statistics have 3 basic forms which they can confront mortals: mortal form, manifestation form, and incorporeal form. Oh, see? There you go. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with that. I'm pretty sure I understand that that's God at that point.
Yeah. He's all glowing and stuff. Okay.
All right, so what's his mortal form? An Immortal can... Oh, my God. An Immortal can create any mortal form to house his intelligence when he appears in the mortal world. He can create a mortal form of any monster species and at maximum experience level for that species. I love how he can't go beyond the maximum experience level. Sorry, I'm an orc. I can't go past 3-hit die. God, couldn't you have picked something more powerful? Because I can kill you now. The Immortal is bound by all the character class or species limitations of the form he assumes. For example, if an Immortal creates a human form for himself, he can create anything from a normal man to a 36th level adventurer. If, for instance, he were to become a 24th level cleric, he would be bound by the cleric's limitations of spells, armor, and weapons. Violation of any such limitations would force the Immortal to begin to take on either his manifestation or incorporeal form as described below. Okay, it's not detectable. Don't care. I want to see how easy it is to kill. Not many Immortals like doing this. Got it. It said not many. So becoming immortal, blah, 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 blah. Becoming blind again. Also immortal, wandering around in mortal identity. Can't keep his attention on as many of his plans as he could if you're back in the Immortal's plane. It doesn't say how many avatars he can be.
Not yet, anyway.
Let's see. During his turn, the immortal is transforming. Likewise, the immortal can change the mortal form to another mortal form. I mean, he is a god. He can be whatever form he wants, right? Under the same time constraints. If an immortal wants to maintain two identities on the mortal world, one a female 36 level magic user and the other 10th level dwarf, he can change freely between them and any number of additional forms and identities, and be subject only to the limitation that each transformation takes one turn.
Okay.
So he can only be one avatar at a time, but he can just pick how that. Wow.
Yeah, pick any living mortal creature and give him 10 minutes and he can turn into it.
I'm pretty sure second edition said, depending on the type of god, demigod, lesser god, yada, yada.
Yeah, that's how many avatars you can have.
Yeah.
Total. Yeah.
Okay. Can create garments, don't care. Communication, the immortal can speak with any living creature and with non-living things related to his own sphere. He knows all languages. All right, manifestation form. In the Immortals' more powerful form the Immortals' more powerful form is a manifestation form. This form is as much as true immortal bodies he can project into the mortal world. The immortal can make his manifestation form look like anything, but it will always radiate the power of an immortal. An immortal in this form cannot convince anyone that he is not an immortal. I'm not God. Yes, you are. No. Most immortals choose one or two specific appearances for their manifestation forms. This helps when they're dealing with the mortal followers and minions. They can switch instantly between those appearances if they choose. 3 power levels of immortal are shown below: lesser, greater, and ultimate. The DM will decide which immortals in his own campaign fall into which power levels. Lesser immortals are either fairly new to immortality or have simply never developed a lot of power. They tend to be patrons of less dominant traits or professions, patrons of specific cities, or servants of greater mortals. Actually, I like the idea of patrons of specific cities. That is such a common thing in history. Mm-hmm. I actually wish games like Dungeons & Dragons did more of that, where if you were a cleric of a certain god, but you went to another city, either you lost your power or you had to take on the worship of that other god, or venerate. I won't say worship. We'll say veneration of another god. And that may or may not be a problem for your god. Some gods wouldn't care. Hey, as long as it's pushing the sphere forward, I don't give a crap. Others would be, no, buddy. It's about me. You know, I wish there'd be more of that. Because way back in the day, absolutely, cities had their own gods. All right. Greater immortals are powerful beings who represent important functions and have gained a lot of magical might. They tend to be patrons of significant traits or professions, patrons of entire nations or tribes, and often have lesser immortal subordinates, and sometimes answer to ultimate immortals. So, you know what? The demigods or the lesser gods in this case, they tend to answer to a greater god. Ultimate immortals are those who are the oldest and most powerful. They often represent very popular or important traits and have many subordinate immortals and followers. These divisions are mere conveniences for the DM, who can create immortals with other statistics and power levels. Let's look at Forgotten Realms. Forgotten Realms says Au. Au is the greatest god that exists that you cannot worship. He accepts no followers. The other gods aren't even sure if he still exists, but they know he did, or whatever, you know. So you can come up with your own type of pantheon as you want, or you can have the Jimmy Hoffa god. All right, let's look at these immortal manifestations. Look at all those asterisks. Look at all that. So somebody fell asleep on the typewriter.
Yep.
All right. We're not going to talk about these. Just going to look at them real quickly. There you go. Get an idea of what the anti-magic dude. Come on. 90% just spells just bounce off them.
Yep. Well, within 5 feet.
Yeah. So see, note that mortals don't score don't mean that the immortal will stay and fight to the death, and then yeah, this should have been known anyway. That's kind of like what we talked about with that vampire. Just means that he's not going to get scared and run away. He can still be like,
retreat.
What's that?
He can still retreat if he wants to.
Or he can realize that he's going to kill hundreds of thousands of you and not want to do that and just be like, oh, you got me. You got me. Good job, guys. And walk away. All right, we're not going to read all of that. Incorporeal form. We're going to go to the incorporeal form. The Immortal's third form is his incorporeal form. This form is really just a projection of his mind from his native sphere to the mortal world. It usually appears as a glowing and substantial figure, or it can take the form of any sort of dream projected straight into the mortal's mind.
Burning bush.
What's that? Burning bush, yeah?
Burning bush.
In either case, the immortal can appear before several mortals all at once, or it can be visible to only one as the immortal chooses. The appearance of an incorporeal form on the mortal world does not alert watching immortals. Therefore, an immortal can freely communicate with his minions without alerting other immortals to his activities. Mortal magic has absolutely no effect on the incorporeal form. He's not really there.
Yeah.
So, fighting immortals, that's just dumb.
Yeah,
Immortals do... I love it. I'm not even going to read. I don't even care what it says. I'm not reading past this first sentence. Immortals do not exist in the D&D game for player characters to fight or kill.
There you go. Full stop.
Full stop. All right. Next manifestation form: PCs becoming immortals. Hey, nobody cares.
I want to become an immortal. How do I do it?
Oh, damn it! I was going to skip that.
No. How do I do it?
See how many pages it is?
Just go to prerequisites.
Okay, 2. All right. Human character of the class cleric, fighter, magic user, thief, or druid. So if you're a human player character, is there one that's missing? Cleric, fighter, magic? No. Oh, mystic.
Oh,
Sorry.
and a demi-human or mystic must first reach an experience point total of 1 million.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's okay. Got it.
Okay,
so
fine.
you must first be 30th level. You got 6th level wiggle room there. Good job.
Sure.
And like he said, it must have 1 million if you're one of those other ones. Once these levels are attained, the character may begin research to discover. So at this point, you're not even there. You're just beginning the research.
Exactly. This is where you can start looking. You're allowed in the room now, but you're going to have to climb on your own.
These paths are not common knowledge. The DM should put the character through a grueling adventure. Just adventure, I'd say an entire campaign, during which the PC learns what is required of a candidate for mortality. Honestly, and I mean this in all sincerity, it should be doable. It should not be a Kobayashi Maru. It should actually be something that you can accomplish, but it should be something that frustrates the character to the point... Notice I say character. To the point where he wants to bow out. It should not just be like, yeah, you kill 100 orcs and you get to do it. Give me five direwolf skins and no. It should be something that's...
It should be, 5 direwolf skins, sew them all to your face, and then bathe in the blood of 87 dead children. And then you go to step 2.
Yeah, and then step 2, which is leading the army that also does the same.
Yeah.
So every path to immortality begins with the following steps. Make sure to review the details. Oh my God. All right. What this is, the character selects the path for the sphere of power he wants to serve. Sure. The character must find an immortal sponsor. Oh, hey, God.
Oh, geez, there you go. Well, there's your rub.
God, can you help me out?
Well,
No,
you are 30th level. You are on the radar of a lot of immortals.
But you smell bad.
Well,
let's see what it says. Here's finding the sponsor. Let's see what it actually says. Finding an immortal and petitioning for sponsorship is but the first of many difficult tasks. The character must set out on another adventure of research to locate the place where the immortal is chosen. He has chosen maybe content. Oh, so you have to climb Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
Or Mount Zion. Where is it?
I mean, Moses had to climb a mountain, right?
Yeah, but where is the real Mount Sinai?
Oh, that one.
Oh, you chose poorly.
Oh.
What's behind door number 3, Monty? This could be at the top of a remote mountain with a reputation for dangerous hazards, like Shadow Dragon.
Yeah.
In a mystic grove surrounded by deep forest teeming with monsters and a trench at the bottom of the sea. Mariana, you gotta go to Marianas.
You pass on that one.
Or in a perfectly safe temple. What? One it took several dangerous adventures to find. This book is making me laugh now.
Now you got to give a gift? All right. Well,
what's the location?
I suppose that makes sense. You got to give an offering. Okay.
You got to bribe a god, right?
Sure. Yeah. Bribes work.
Once the location for petition has been determined, the character must create a gift of particular relevance to the sphere or personality of the immortal. What would Jimmy Hoffa want? This gift should be especially beautiful and have qualities of the sphere. The more valuable the gift, the higher the chances the character to receive favorable response from immortal. A minimum value of 2.5 million.
He just keeps adding zeros.
Gold pieces is recommended but not required. Look, man, I'm an expensive god. When the gift is prepared, you raise that. Crafty was saying before that. Oh, Immortals for immortal domain play. You must give me your domain. That is your sacrifice. Because why? Because I'm a god, and I'm going to give you a new spiritual domain. How's that sound?
Sounds great, God.
When the gift is prepared, the character may embark on the journey to the mountain. This journey should be very dangerous. The character should rise one level or gain 120,000 experience points during just the journey.
Just getting there. Yeah. Just getting there. Okay.
So, who read Heracles before writing these
All
rules?
those trials. Yep. Yeah.
And the character may be distracted by many adventures along the way. Oh, did Samson get his hair cut? Sorry. No
Whoops.
goddamn for you.
Get out of here, you putz.
He must take care that the gift is not damaged or stolen. If it is, the damage must be repaired or the item recovered before he continues. Wow. The 7 tests. Oh, now it's 7.
Oh, okay.
Climbing the mountain and the summit should also be challenging. Like that should also be challenging. It's recommended the DM create 7 encounters that must be met climbing the mountain. By the way, this is a metaphoric mountain.
Right.
Because remember, you could be diving to the Marianas.
Exactly. Yeah. This is just where the psychological tests begin. Where God will constantly test you along the way to his, talky point.
I got to finish this soon. The encounter should test the character's mettle and worth in the following: honor and trustworthiness. Well, unless you're entropy. Well, if you're entropy, it's like how little honor and how untrustworthy are you, right? Dedication to the sphere of power. That one makes total sense. Resourcefulness and resolution without combat. How are you going to deal with those harpies?
Yeah, that one makes a lot of sense too, because once you're an immortal, you have to do that.
Yeah, you can't be throwing fireballs down on Earth all the time because those fireballs are the size of
comets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bravery. But what if you're the god of fear?
Well, then it'll be
cowardice.
Instead of bravery, it'll be what's that? The cool word for running away. Not
retreat.
Coward.
No. Tactical retreat. Withdraw.
There you go. Yeah. Tactical withdrawal. Yeah.
Here comes brave Sir Robin, brave is he. Persistence in the face of adversity. Look, you telling me already this wasn't enough? Did you miss the part where I had to gain a level and make you a 250 million gold piece? Mercy and charity of the heart.
Okay. This is a generic list. It'll have to be tweaked depending on the alignment of the god that you're entreating, but okay, sure.
And we got a super chat before we get to wisdom.
Am I on my way?
Yeah, you're buying your way in.
Immortal?
Yes,
hey,
you are going to be Legion with immortality.
Yeah. You have to submit all the proper paperwork.
And you know what? Your adventure is to find the paperwork.
Yes. And at the end of it, you better have the nominal fee.
And I will know if you create the paperwork on your own and don't actually go find it. Ask me how I know. No, you can't because I'm the god.
Yep. And you're not. So shut it.
And you're going to have to combat some other people like Crafty, who's got a few years ahead of you.
Yep.
And has donated a lot of money to Legion of Myth. So on your way. Yep, you're on your way. Someday you'll make it to your 7 trials. Let's see here. Let's see. Not all. Wisdom. The last one is wisdom. But you know what? I'm going to give Polyrobotics a wisdom credit already for that super chat. He asked a very relevant question, couched it in money.
Sure. So it's a bribe, and we all know that immortals love bribes.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, you get an answer. No.
Sorry. This is a god of two minds here, it's just all right. Not all these encounters need to be combat related. In fact, most should be role-playing encounters where the character must make the correct decision based on the trait being tested. Not every challenge must be won to reach the summit, but they all must be met. Okay, fine. Immortal response. Once the summit is reached, the character must meditate for 1d6 days. Calling to the immortal in his thoughts. The immortal will always hear the call, but will judge the character's worthiness before responding. God, are you there? God, are we there yet? God, are we there yet? God, are we there yet? God, are we there yet?
Roll a d10 and modify as in the following table. Oh, sweet.
See, already annoyed God to the point that he had to answer.
Yep, here we go. Characters of a different alignment. Dude, you talking to the wrong god. You messed up.
Right?
Yeah.
per test
Traditional
failed.
being
Failed. Wow.
Oh, if you got help. Oh.
Oh,
supposed
come
to
on.
be
Even God
lone.
let Moses have some help.
We had to climb the mountain all on his own, right? Per test
Minor
failed.
artifact.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, I mean, you're bringing a $250 billion domain. So I'd at least count that as a major artifact. So you get a +8.
That's a +8 right there. Yeah, definitely.
You've drained the entire world's resources to do this.
Exactly. You have all of the gold everywhere.
There you go. Heathen Dog.
What?
You take over the world. You are emperor of the planet, literal planet. And then you offer it to God.
That's a major if I ever saw one.
Yeah. All right. Test results of less than 1. Okay,
That's
so
Okay, so
what did you roll?
let's hang on. Let's throw some modifiers in there. Go back to the modifiers.
Okay.
Let's say I had someone helping me, -3. I failed 2 of the tests, -9. But I passed the other 5. So that's +5. So now it's -4. And I brought a lesser artifact. So it's -2.
Let's go with the major artifact. You brought the GDP of the United States, 2.5
I
trillion.
brought the GDP. All right, fine. Then I'm +4. I rolled a 10. 6 + 4 is 10.
Oh, well, there you. So the Immortal is very pleased and arrives in 1d6 days.
Great.
Now, if you didn't bring the GDP of the United States, you'd have been down here at the Immortal arrives in D100 days. Are you gonna meditate that long?
6 - 4 is 2. So the Immortal is displeased and lets the character know by an omen in 1d6 days and that he will not answer the call. So if I hadn't brought that +8 greater artifact, I would have had 6 - 4 is 2, and I would have been boned.
I do like the 3. I do find the 3 to 8 interesting. It actually has a biblical connotation, or a minor biblical connotation. The Immortal arrives in D100 days. And as you're doing your meditation, but he says, hey, I'll be there in a minute. And he does that he sends an omen of his impending arrival in 1. So in your 6 days that you're meditating, the first 1d4 of them, he says, hey, I'm coming.
But then it's a D100 days from now. So he's testing your faith.
Yep. All right. While awaiting the Immortal's arrival, the character should remain on the summit and meditate for 80% of his waking hours. God, don't roll a 100. I am now the god of meditation because it's all I know how to do. If the character leaves the mountain, check the Immortal's response again with a -2 modifier. Leaving. Oh, really, sir? Really? You know what? You could... Nope, you couldn't even roll this. Well, no, you'd still have all the same other prerequisites, wouldn't you? You could still get a 10. I'm pleased with you leaving and ignoring me.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, if you roll a 9 or a 10, even if you're off the mountain or wherever the spot was, he'll appear in front of you.
Yeah.
After the 100 days.
All right. The arrival of the Immortals, always a performance. The arrival may be grandiose or mysterious. If grandiose, the Immortal appears in an elemental form based on the sphere, erupting from the earth. Sure. The Immortal, yeah, you know what? I'm done with this. Talks about his attitude. If the gift was less than 25,000 gold pieces, well, it's good that he brought a 25 trillion gold piece.
Yeah. For each doubling of the gift's value. I don't know how many 25 trillion is doubled from 25,000, but I'm sure it's a lot.
Petition rejected. Immortal destroys the gifts and sets the character on the quest for him. How dare you bring me this planet domain? Now, quest to go find a new planet, buddy.
Hey, you know what? That is a great way to make sure the game master cannot roll a 1 or a 2. If you give the planet as a gift, God cannot destroy the planet. Yeah. He has to accept it.
The petition accepted with pleasure. Immortal gives the character a small magical item of the sphere of power as a token and teleports the character home. Hey, buddy, you don't have to walk home. There you go. Go home and take this Ion Stone.
That's it?
It's a token.
Okay.
A small magical item.
Okay. Thanks.
Hey, look. You made it this far. You're tough enough. You'll be okay.
Yeah. I'm at least level 30. I'll just put it in my bag of Ion Stones.
Right?
Ion.
Okay, there are 4 paths to get there.
That's
I'm
not
gonna read.
necessary.
I'm gonna read the first part of it, but and I'm gonna read polymath. I'm not gonna read the other one.
Let's just skip to when the PCs reach immortality. So you may have this wonderful idea of becoming an immortal and continue play, but
The reason why I'm gonna read
you can continue
polymath is because it was requested in chat.
Okay.
All right. Once character gains a sponsor, you must reach the highest possible experience before setting off on the path of immortality. The questioner must be true to his chosen sphere of power and bring glory and honor during the trial. Each path requires that a mortal pass the following 5 tough requirements. Character's adventures must gain him a specific amount of experience, amount to 600,000 XP for most classes, but only 400,000 for class the sphere favors. That's it. Just 400,000 more experience. That's it.
That's it. Please do that in my sleep.
The character must complete a new quest to retrieve an artifact of lesser or greater magnitude from the sphere of power. Quest for this artifact should take several game years.
Yep.
Character must successfully complete a trial of specific value to his class and to the sphere. The character must prepare a testimonial to his greatness, a combination of followers, and lasting monument. The monument to his greatness must be financed by the character, and he must participate in its creation by either adventuring for components and manpower or by taking the risks of the actual physical construction. Remember me! Remember me! The character must complete a specific monumental task that will benefit his sphere. Oops.
Great.
Zoomed out on the wrong thing there. All right, polymath. Let's see why this was requested. This is the path to the sphere of matter. This path favors the fighter class. Yay, fighters. The polymath must face the challenge to succeed The polymath must face the challenge to succeed in 3 additional lives as cleric, thief, and magic user? The polymath during each of the 3 lives as another character class must quest for and gain the same artifact. He begins each new career at first level with no memories of his previous lives. The quest may not begin until the character reaches 5th level in each class. The first 2 times the artifact is gained, the Immortal reappears to the character within 1d20 times 10 days to claim it. The Immortal then reduces the character to 1st level and causes him to forget his past again. I hate this one. So that he may begin the next character class. The 3rd time the artifact is gained, the character may retain it, and the Immortal returns all past memories. There's too many Rick and Morty references in this. After completing the final step of the quest, the character must adventure alone until he reaches 12th level. He retains the abilities of all the character classes and advances in all character classes equally. So basically, he's getting back to 36th level. This is horrible. Testimony. The polymath must be accompanied on his adventures by 1 member of each human character class. These comrades may not begin at a level higher than the character. If any of these characters are slain, the aspiring polymath must take steps to resurrect them, setting aside his quest if necessary. Once the quest is complete and before beginning the trial, the character must erect a monument at least 100 feet tall in glory of his adventures. This monument must stand for at least 10 years. Yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of rigmarole. I mean, that's just God messing with you.
Yep. When PCs reach immortality, if a character reaches immortality, he must retire from the play of game unless the campaign focus changes to follow the Immortals and their activities. This normally only takes place when 2 or more PCs have become immortal. Immortal former PCs may reappear in the campaign as a patron and sometimes a manipulator of their old friends.
Sure. Again, Stargate SG-1, Daniel came back a bunch of times.
Yeah. All right. I need to step away for a moment. Little minor emergency. I will be right back. Handle chat and so forth, and I'll be right back.
Copy that. All right, let's see here. CPK, super chat, $5. Thank you very much. Is Joseph an immortal supporting the CS? No. He's on his way. He's on the path to becoming an immortal. Yeah. Prosec. Joseph Prosec. That's right. On his way. Matter sphere, probably. And then we have Polyrobotics with a super chat. I mean, no, you are not on your way to immortal. Stop it. We already went through that. Let's look at the other chats. Padar. Doing a modified version of this in my game with the player being in the final incarnation but not knowing it, but coming across hints of his previous lives during his adventures. Yeah, I don't like that. That's just mean. You know, starting at level 1, getting to 5th level, then God says, "Hey, good job hitting the finish line. Do it again." Then, "Hey, good job hitting the finish line. Do it again." But not knowing that you're doing it again. That's worse.
I like the premise, the idea that this is not an overnight thing.
Yeah.
I think that the polymath, I didn't read the other ones, but I think that polymath thing does go too far.
Yeah, that's way too far. Way too far.
All right, anything else?
No, that's about it.
Okay, excellent. Once again, we have two sections that I am not going to cover the treasure section, or if I do, I'm just going to scroll through it real quickly and say, look, that's treasure. That is the one chapter in the book I'm not covering. I just don't see any purpose in covering it. But here's what I'll do. If you put in the comments that you really want me to cover the treasure section chapter of this book, put it in the comments of this video, and we'll look over it quickly next week, because next week is the last week of Rules Cyclopedia, and we're going to be talking about the planes of existence and variant rules. Theoretically, looks like those are going to be pretty quick, because those are like half the like one's 2 pages, and no, one's 3 pages, one's 2 pages. So theoretically, those should go pretty quick. So if you really, really, really want me to cover treasure, I can probably sneak that in. I just don't see that it's necessary. And then we will be done with Rules Cyclopedia. What are your thoughts on these Immortal rules, though? Obviously it just kind of talked about how to become one. It didn't really go into like all the experience, how many followers you need. Apparently there's another like little expansion or something for that somebody was mentioning. But do you like the idea of Immortal rules in your game, or is that something that you're just like, you know what, that's outside the scope of what I really want to do? The cool thing though is this book has everything. It's got character classes, it's got low level, it's got high level, it's got domain play, you can choose not to do domain play, it's got siege warfare, it's got immortal rules, it's got everything in this one book. I think that's pretty awesome. So with that in mind, please like, subscribe, and share, and look forward to talking to you next week.